There you go, George. We lost the big one this week, mate.
Lost another one, yeah. I think the importance of Tina Turner to rugby league, late 80s, I think these kids don't understand, or some of these millenniums don't understand. The game was on its knees in the late 80s, Nicola. People weren't watching it on television.
Commercially.
Yeah. The grounds were empty. Believe it or not, there was 3,000 and 4,000 people at the grounds. Then the CEOs of the game, Ken Arthurson and
John Quayle.
John Quayle. I think John Quayle knew Tina Turner's manager, and Tina Turner's manager just happened to be a rugby league nutter, and a Manly nutter, to be precise. So he encouraged Tina to do a theme song for the NRL, or then the ARL, yeah. ARL. And that wasn't the song. That's my favourite song, but that wasn't the song that they picked. Remember the song "What You Get Is What You See"?
Yeah.
Well, that was the
"What You Get Is What You See."
Yeah.
Not much of a singer. But look, before we get into our Tina Turner tribute,
go for it, Nicola.
Let's call it in. It's episode 42. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, George. Unfortunately, we don't have Artie here tonight. He wasn't feeling great, so. Shout out to Artie. We hope you feel better soon,
miss you,
mate.
brother. Miss you already.
It's not the same. We've got an empty chair here. It's just not right. And George is too close to me for us to have any serious arguing this week.
Artie, get better. Missing my Chip and Chase co-host.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the co-host actually.
Round 13 is
in the bag, Nicola. In the can, Nicola. In the can.
But before we get to that, let's just get back to talking a little bit about. As we open the show, the world lost Tina Turner this week.
Yeah.
Huge on so many levels for us. Selfishly, just a small portion of that was the effect and the impact that she had on rugby league. Back when prior to the NRL, back when it was the New South Wales Rugby League, the Queensland Rugby League, and the Australian Rugby League.
Yeah.
And what George was alluding to at the time, the ARL, which was the governing body, the Australian Rugby League, was headed up by John Quayle and Ken Arthurson. That's a whole pod all on its own. Yeah. I'm not going to touch it. But yes, they did a lot of things that weren't great. But one of the things they did that was great was bringing Tina Turner in, and that whole marketing campaign. And it was a commercial with her and the players.
Yep.
And as you said, What You Get Is What You See was I believe you said that was the first song.
Yeah, that was the first one.
88, 89?
88, yes. 88, 89, up to 91. And then the song that we played was...
Yeah, and I remember that clearly because I was in year 12, and that was like a peak period at that age.
Yes, at that time. It was peak.
And it was just huge. And I think it was 93 or 94 she came out here and performed the grand final.
It was 93 when she came and performed with Alan Langer.
And that was huge. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And I saw the footage of the grand final pre-show entertainment, and you know what? I love my Aussie rock. You know, they usually get Jimmy Barnes or Hoodoo Gurus, but to have someone like Tina Turner, it just gives the game a brand new lease of life. It gives it.
There's an international view as well. It was an international lens.
Absolutely, because can you imagine? It probably would be beamed all around the world, Nicola, and that was in the 80s.
And I remember looking, and this was 1992, so this was how many years? 40, 30 years ago?
Yeah, 35, whatever, 36.
I'm losing count. 30 years ago.
30-something.
31 years ago. And
31, okay.
I could be wrong, but I remember, like I said, I was in year 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember looking at her and everyone saying, she's a grandmother. Look, man, she looks pretty good for a grandmother back then, you know.
The Queen of Rock, apparently.
Yeah.
But again, she changed the momentum of rugby league, Nicola. And look, I'm not saying rugby league would have died, but it was on its knees at that time before she made what you get is what you see. And what happened was it attracted ladies to the game, which in turn attracted kids to the game, which in turn attracted viewers, and all of a sudden the stadiums were full. So between 89 and 98 was regarded as the NRL regarded as a golden era, and it was solely on the back of Tina Turner's marketing.
Not so much of a golden era if you're a Parramatta Eels fan, but a great era for the game.
A great era for the game.
Great era for the game.
Great era for the game, apparently. And well, I'll suggest to you that in Australian marketing terms, I can't think of any better marketing campaign.
No, that's been by far and away the best.
Not only sporting, Nicola, in general. I can't think of any better marketing campaign. And look, I suggest possibly might have gone international, like we said, when she came out and performed.
It provided the lens, and it must have gotten exposure internationally.
It must have. And like I said, I like my Aussie rock, and we get local products to do the NRL Grand Final, and I think we had Keith Urban, which was great. Still Australian, but it'll be good to see some international acts coming through again. It just, like I said, it just makes the game what it should be.
I've got something on that after as well.
What do you got? You got something on?
Yeah, on the grand final entertainment.
Yeah. Want to tell us now?
Yeah, we can do it now.
Give it to me.
Are we finished with Tina?
Yeah. Look, I just wanted to mention it. Look, and I'm going to stick my hand up and say that I was a personal fan of the woman, her music. She was in the Mad Max
Beyond Thunderdome.
Beyond Thunderdome,
3,
yeah. So when I heard the news, I won't lie, I was in Tasmania. I was in a bed. I wasn't very well, and that just made me even sicker.
83 years old, she was.
83, yeah. So look, she lived a good full life.
So she was 52 when she did that.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
Still
look 52.
So full of energy. Such a natural performer.
Yeah.
Just 52. A wonderful talent. Yeah.
But look, I liked. Actually, I don't like Nutbush City Limit, believe it or not.
I hate that song.
I don't like that song.
But you know
why?
I
like everything else
because
after that.
In the era that I was going out nightclubbing, we used to hear that and it would just kill the mood. Nutbush City, and everyone does the dance, and yeah, that was usually time to go to the bar. But
I don't know how to dance that.
She'll be missed, obviously, but I think she'll also be immortalised within rugby league.
She's part of NRL, ARL history. She's part of rugby league
history.
She's part of rugby league history. You know what? When you go through that museum at headquarters, she should be in it. And look, I'm surprised if she's not in it.
I've been through there.
Is she in it or some sort of
no? But having
like
said
some sort
that,
of clip or something.
It's look. I haven't been there since pre-COVID.
Yeah,
and we've got to go. We've been saying this. Lino's there every day. He's at the NRL office. It's not much of a museum. It's a room. They've got all the Winfield Cup trophies and and they've got some wonderful memorabilia and stuff. It's not all that. Maybe they've updated it in the past few years. But we definitely need to go and see it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm dying to go.
Well, whenever you're free, just let me know. You can just rock up and walk in.
Can you?
Yeah.
It's Monday to Friday?
It's NRL headquarters, Monday to Friday.
Okay.
You walk in, it's the first door on the left.
He knows.
I've been there many times.
Now, what do you got for me, Nicola? What do you got for me?
Let's jump into Nico's rant, which is a segment that we haven't had for a while.
Go, Nicola.
And my rant is really about something that hasn't happened yet, so I might be jumping the gun. But a pet peeve of mine is the NRL's grand final entertainment, and I'm not singling out any one specific year. I'm just in general. It's the one they invest so much money into this game, and that's the one area they neglect monetarily. When they're doing their budget, that must be the last thing at the bottom of the spreadsheet. Personally, I'm sick and tired of seeing Jimmy Barnes. I mean, they got him to re-record that song.
At the end, they did. She did it with Jimmy Barnes.
I'm sick of the Hoodoo Gurus. I don't want to see Vanessa Amorosi.
Man, good Calabresa girl.
I'm just saying, right? This year, it's and hashtag NRL or whatever it takes to get your attention. Somebody over there at Moore Park. But this year we've got Kiss coming to Australia for one night at Accor Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing the stadium at Homebush. I know I've said this about 4 times, but this is the last time I'll ever get to see them. But for me, and I don't know what the schedule is, but I have looked at their touring schedule, and they're on a break from the 12th of July to the 20th of October.
Okay.
They've slotted this one show in due to popular demand because they just finished up here in September of last year.
We went.
An online petition has been going around, which, yeah, okay, I signed it 3 times. But whoever pays attention to an online petition, well, they must have got the numbers because they've reached the promoter being Ted Dainty and One World Entertainment. They've reached out and they said to the band,
they're coming.
They want you back. So Gene Simmons posted on his Twitter, "You asked for it, we'll give it to you. We'll come." They're coming all the way here. They're bringing the whole shebang, and you've seen the show.
Yeah.
We were there last
It's a
year.
big show.
They're bringing it all just for one night. So
What date?
the Saturday, the 7th of October, which is the Saturday following the NRL Grand Final, which brings me back to my original point. If they haven't yet, the NRL has to get in touch with the promoters and get Kiss to play the NRL Grand Final. Rock and roll all night.
Wow.
Come on.
Wow.
They've played the Super Bowl.
No.
They've played the Winter Olympics.
What a great opportunity.
They played to 240,000 people in Brazil. I think they can handle Homebush. So hashtag NRL, whatever it is, hash brown it and send it to the internet.
Well, I'm going to second that. NRL, get off your ass. Okay, Kiss is here. Okay, do something good. Not only for the game, for the people who go and pay their hard-earned money. Not only to watch rugby league, but entertained. Get Kiss.
Yeah.
Get Kiss out there at the stadium. Okay,
invest the money. Don't cheapen out. Don't give us the Screaming Jets. Don't give us Midnight Oil. Don't give us a band that I can walk down to the pub and see. Get a real spectacle on for the NRL Grand Final and show these other codes how the big boys do it.
Listen for once, NRL. Listen for once. You say you listen, but do you listen?
Yeah.
So put your hand in your pocket.
And that's my rant. So
I like it.
Logistically, it's right there. For them to perform on a Saturday, they'll have to arrive here 3 or 4 days earlier. It's a no-brainer.
I like
right?
it, Nicola.
They're off from the 12th of July, so their schedules are free. NRL, I'll swear. No, I won't swear.
I like it, Nicola. I like what you're
F's
saying.
sake, right?
I like what you're saying.
Get off your butts, get in touch with the promoters and make it happen.
I like what you're saying, Nicola.
Make it happen.
If they're here especially.
They're here.
Well, yeah.
They're here.
How much would it cost?
Who cares?
Oh,
like
who cares?
I said,
Exactly.
with the
Who
money
cares?
you've saved on the last 10 grand finals, you know what I mean? Who have we even had? I remember Richie Sambora playing a few years ago.
It wasn't good. No
'Cause
disrespect to him. It wasn't good.
It wasn't Bon Jovi, was it?
It wasn't Bon Jovi. I can't even remember who we had last year. Jimmy Barnes.
I can't remember.
Chisel. It was Chisel.
Jimmy Barnes is like the default choice, right?
It was Chisel, I think.
And I know this is not a music pod. This is a rugby league pod. But while we're on it, I don't know why I'm very different to most of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like the Aussie rock from the 80s.
Really?
I just can't.
Look, I'm a fan. You know,
I can't because I, with my brother,
yeah,
as my biggest influence musically, I grew up listening to obviously Kiss, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, all those, Rat, that group of bands, and it was just hard to. You watch an interview with Cold Chisel from 1986, and it's 4 or 5 guys in jeans and t-shirts wearing Dunlop volleys.
Yeah.
You watch an interview with an American rock band of that era, and the guys, they just look cool. Chains, leather jackets. They just look like someone whose autograph you want.
I hear what you're saying.
They don't look like your unemployed uncle.
Here's a question. I know it's a rugby league show, but everybody loves music. Tell me your top 5 guitarists, but with a twist. They don't have to be technically good like Eddie Van Halen, but emotionally good.
Well,
Put emotion through the strings.
it's hard.
And I'll suggest one, okay, and you can shoot me down, Prince. I don't think he technically was good, but emotionally he made that thing hum.
I'm not too familiar with Prince's music apart from the obvious stuff. It's not in my ballpark. Now the guy was a genius. He played every instrument on every recording that he did.
Every recording, yeah.
If I had to name top 5 guitarists, look, I can't name them in order.
No order.
Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck. I mean, there are so many. Ace Frehley is one of my favourites. I'm being biased.
Yeah.
Slash is one of my favourites. I'm being biased. But
Mark Knopfler?
Warren DeMartini
Who's that?
from Rat.
Okay.
Do
you rate
Steve Vai?
Who's that? Where from?
Steve Vai, he does mainly solo stuff, but he was in David Lee Roth's band when he went solo.
Okay.
He was in he's been in lots of bands, but and there's a bunch that I'm leaving out.
Would you rate Eric Clapton?
Eric Clapton, absolutely.
Clapton,
Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, and Jimmy Page were in the same band together for 5 minutes. Pre Led Zeppelin, the Yardbirds.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't know who I'm actually speaking of, but
60s, wasn't it? Early mid-60s?
But I'm a Kiss fan. I love Ace Frehley from the 70s.
Yes.
I've got to specify that because Ace Frehley in the 80s was a different person. But in the 70s, I just loved his style, his emotion. I loved his solos. Eddie Van Halen, of course,
Technically,
can't leave him out. He's just, but there were so many great guitarists from the 80s.
Yeah.
So many.
70s, 80s.
Brian May from
Brian
Queen,
May.
right?
He was the Queen sound, wasn't he?
And when we he built his own guitar.
Yeah.
When we get past this, I'm gonna be sitting here and I'm gonna be thinking of 3 or 4 names that I can't believe I left out. But
I know, and I'll put my hand up for Arthur. I know that Prince is one of his favourites.
Yeah,
in an artist, but I'm sure it'll be
for me personally, for the genre of music that I like and everything. I think Jimmy Page was the single biggest. I mean, Pete Townsend, right? But Jimmy Page was the single biggest influence. Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, I know.
Keith Richards.
Yeah, Keith
I mean,
Richards.
George Harrison. We keep going.
Keith Richards.
But when I grew up watching Ace Frehley for Kiss, watching Paul Stanley, who's a great rhythm guitarist. James Hetfield's a real underrated rhythm guitarist from Metallica.
Where's he? Metallica.
And he down picks only, which is pretty amazing if you listen to Metallica rhythm guitar. But watching Guns N' Roses, whether it's Axl or Slash, or whether it's Kiss with Ace and Paul, when I first saw Led Zeppelin, which was later, I saw DVDs or whatever from the set. I'm like, wow, that's where they got it from.
Gotcha.
That's where they all got it from. That's what, so probably it's a long answer to a short question, and I don't really have an answer.
Okay, but you've said enough.
Jimmy Page probably has to be my number one.
You've said enough.
Say,
While I've got you in this mood, okay, and the Wonder Boy can cut all this out. Best tag team fight.
The best
Both.
match.
Yeah, match. Not best tag team. Best match.
It's actually a mismatch.
Ooh.
So if I have to answer your question, I think when
Nature Boy in it?
no, I think WrestleMania 2 when the British Bulldogs won the title off the Dream Team, Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake.
Ooh.
But for me, the biggest mismatch tag team, which should have been the biggest match, was the one mistake. I don't know what the hell we're talking about here because this is a rugby league podcast. But WrestleMania 3, which was the pivotal card in the history of professional wrestling, with the best match I've ever seen, the Intercontinental title, where Ricky Steamboat beat the Macho Man. The biggest match we've ever seen, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, for the World Heavyweight title. And what should have been one of the best tag team matches ever, the Hart Foundation versus the British Bulldogs.
Ooh.
For the World Heavyweight title, Vince screwed it up royally.
How? Who did he give it
the
to?
Harts were the champions.
Yeah.
It was the 3-man match. So the Hearts had Danny Davis, the crooked referee, in their corner, and the Bulldogs had Chico Santana, Tito Santana, and it was a non-title match.
Non-title?
It was the biggest screw up.
Was it a good match?
Yeah, it was a good match,
performed?
but they should have stripped off the excess baggage, gotten rid of Danny Davis, gotten rid of Tito Santana. Heart Foundation, British Bulldogs, heavyweight title, wouldn't have mattered who won.
Wait a minute. You mean the Heart Foundation and
The British Bulldogs.
They didn't fight?
No, they did, but it was a non-title match, and they each had a third man in their corner.
Yeah, but they didn't never fight for a title.
Yeah, but not on the WrestleMania card,
WrestleMania.
you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Who won by the way?
The Heart Foundation.
Heart Foundation. What happened?
Well, Danny Davis scored the pin after using the megaphone to clock Davey Boy Smith. Danny Davis was a controversial referee who was actually refereeing the match when the Macho Man, which is why Tito Santana was involved, because
I love it.
Between WrestleMania 2 and 3, Danny Davis officiated the Macho Man when he beat Tito Santana for the Intercontinental title on the 2nd of February 1986 at Boston Garden.
Full house.
After Macho Man pulled a foreign object, I love that term, out of his tights
God bless
and
wrestling.
clocked Tito Santana with it. And Danny Davis pretended not to see it.
Now, what we're showing here is Nicola loves his rock and roll and he loves his wrestling. So,
What are we here for again?
rugby league.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Talking before you get into the rugby league, okay? You gave me some of these cookies.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Tell me about these
I
cookies.
was about to say that. So can you hand me one as
Yeah,
well? I'll hold one up
absolutely.
to the camera as well.
I'm dying to get into them.
Look at these cookies. Cookies by MS. I don't know if you can zoom in on that. They're New South Wales themed cookies, if you can see that. Delicious New South Wales Blues NRL cookies by MS. They're available exclusively at all Caruso pasticerias here in Sydney, and I'll rattle off where you can find them. At Wetherill Park, Rhodes, Menai, Shell Harbour, which is not in Sydney, and Russell Lee, which is near Fivedale. We're about to eat them. This is George. Can't wait.
I can't wait.
We're
You know
about
what?
to eat them.
It's a ball. It's got New South Wales and it's cool. And when I saw
Awesome.
it, I fell in love with it.
Awesome. So get down to your nearest, or you can order them online as well, actually. Caruso Pasticceria. Look them up. I'm about to hack into it now. I'm going to make George talk so I can eat.
And if you do go to Caruso's, we go to Wetherill Park, get the cannoli. They're the best cannoli in the world. And I'm a cannoli specialist. I love my cannoli.
is.
So, yeah, look, he's a genius. So I call him God for a reason. I call the cooks there, well, they're not cooks, are they? Whatever they are. I call them God. So they do the best cakes.
How
so
good is that?
get into it.
Now I just remembered why we're here. To talk
Origin.
footy. Yeah.
Let's talk Origin.
George, let's talk a bit of Origin.
There's a game on Wednesday night. There's a game on Wednesday night.
That's good. That's good.
We're eating on camera. Love it. There's a game on Wednesday night, and Nico wanted me to go through how I thought the game or what's on Freddie's mind. And I think both coaches have got very similar things on their minds, Nicola. And why I say that is the team that they picked sort of mirrors each other. Now we got to blow this today with Latrell out, which is a very big blow. And why that is, Freddie was trying to recreate something that happened 2 years ago. Was it 2 years? Yeah, 2 years ago. Now, if it would have manifested, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty confident that's what he wanted to do. Now with Latrell not there, maybe psychologically the team is fallen. I'm not sure. But in saying that, Crichton, he's in great form, and you're not going to lose too much from Crichton. And he's never let down in.
He's a natural centre too.
Yeah, and he's never let down in Origin. But this is what I think is on Freddie's mind. Now, we all got shocked with Pangai Jr.'s inclusion. Now, let's get real. If RCG's fit, Pangai Jr. does not get a look in. But RCG,
I've got to say, I'm a fan of the Penguin selection.
I agree with
I think
it.
he's made for it.
I agree with it now, but if I had to pick RCG Or Pengai, I'll pick
Yeah,
RCG
RCG
every
was
day.
in really good form
He
too.
was in form
yeah.
as well, okay? And he had a good, was it the year before?
Well, he got dropped last year.
Yeah, last year got dropped.
Yeah.
The year before, he went,
Yeah.
went well. And he went on the Kangaroo Tour, didn't he?
Yeah, really well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, the World Cup Tour, okay? So, Pangai's got 15 to 20 minutes in him. That's always gone in him, okay? He's going to put him up front. He's going to ruffle some feathers.
Is that a debut for him, or did he get
Yes.
selected a few years ago? No. I think it is a debut, isn't it?
No one said it's a debut, so it probably isn't. Maybe he got selected
Can't remember.
and didn't have a good game.
Can't remember.
Okay. Let's assume it's a debut for him. Okay. Now, Pangai's going to run on and he's going to cause some havoc. Now, he can't throw a punch. Everybody get that out of your mind, okay? Because if he throws a punch, he's in the tunnel for 10 minutes and it's going to be a big problem for the Blues. So let's get rid of it. That's not
And
going to
yeah,
happen.
no-
What he can do is he can dig his shoulder into someone's ribs and make him spew.
Not that I want this to get around or anything like that, but if Brad and Billy, who know each other quite well,
Very well.
just get on the damn phone and decide that everyone throws a punch, well, guess what? You can't sin bin both teams, can you?
That's what happened last year.
Throw them all in.
That's what happened last
And
year.
see,
No one
how,
got
see how the
sin bin.
referees handle that.
So Pangai's going to give us 15 minutes of aggression, but let's not forget he's got a really good pop in him. So
Great offload.
I think, yeah. So I think the halves will be just behind the ruck in the drain, just waiting, looking if Pangai turns his head either left or right, and they'll be screaming through. I honestly believe Appy's going to play 80 minutes.
He hasn't played it for his club
Yeah.
yet this year.
Yeah, and look, I could be
So
wrong.
that's interesting.
I could be wrong. And the only reason I say that is he's got a very unique set of skills of putting forwards one-on-one. He can manipulate and work over and roll over a ruck. Now, Damien Cook, and people keep on asking about Damien Cook, okay? Damien is a great tackler, and Damien is a pick up and shoot type of guy, okay? But the forwards have got to collapse the middle for him to go. But Appy collapses the middle.
I think Hines will be used at the back end of each half.
Who?
Hines. At dummy half.
Nico?
Yeah. To give Appy a rest.
I
mean,
don't,
if he-
I
he
don't
hasn't-
think, I don't think he'll get on.
He hasn't gone 80 minutes at club level. How's he going to go 80 minutes at Origin when it's quicker?
I don't think he'll get on. I don't think
Well, it'd be interesting.
I don't think they'll take him off, and I don't think Nico will get on.
I think Brad Fittler will be making a huge mistake if he doesn't utilise his bench. Don't pick someone you can't get on the field. I think.
I agree. I agree there. We will say that. We talk about Parramatta about that. But
Yeah.
I can't see it. Okay. Now, Payne has a humongous motor. Okay. You got to give him 35 minutes, then take him off just before the half time.
Yep.
Okay. Then 5 minutes into the second half, put him on again and just run him all the game, because his first run and his last run is exactly the same. So where he's effective is back end of every halves when the forwards are gassed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what they usually bring him back on.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what Queensland or
Yeah.
the Broncos do.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, it's very hard to contain Payne Haas. So you got to leave him on. Now you got the St George back row, Tyson Frizzell. Now Tyson is a veteran. Okay, he's going to sit on an edge. Okay, don't drag him in the middle like the Brad did before. Sit him on the edge. Okay, he's another guy who plays long minutes. Okay, and is an experienced campaigner. So this pack is forming up and to be an 80-minute pack. What are you going to do with the bench? Because you got Hudson Young on the other edge. Now, for me, the beauty of Hudson Young is this: he could be a spark plug. He could lose his shit and deck someone.
Yeah.
Okay. At the same time, he can give the best, beautiful little offload. Okay.
Good player.
Or with his late footwork, he can just go to the line and burn someone. Okay. So you got to give him long minutes. He's got edge. I like the biggest waste of interchange in these games are your edge forwards. Okay, because they don't do the tackling as your middles do.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and when you got Frizzell, a mobile back rower, and when you got Hudson Young, an absolute psycho, but a mobile back rower, I wouldn't touch him. The issue is you got Isaiah Yo, and I'll tell you why you don't move Isaiah Yo. The whole Penrith's whole game plan, okay, is based around 7, 13, 9. Okay? Well, guess what? The gang's back together.
Yeah.
He's put the band back together. So you try to play Isaiah Yo as long as you can, being a ball playing back rower. Okay? But guess what? You take Pangai Jr. on, okay, and you put Junior Polo on. Another man with a big motor.
Yeah.
Okay, but the good thing is with Junior, as Nico calls it, he's the biggest halfback in the game.
He's got great hands.
Biggest halfback in the game. He keeps on going forward, okay? He's got late footwork and he can play in the line. So this potentially, okay, with Appy putting as much as he can one-on-one, forwards one-on-one, we're collapsing this middle. We're ripping right through the guts of this Queensland team, okay? Okay? And then guess what? You put Cameron Murray or Liam Martin, not on the edges, in the middle. Cameron Murray's biggest attribute, beside his prettiness, is his quick play of the ball. So he gets up, he plays the ball quick. The line's going backwards, okay? Appy's shot through the line, okay, and working on a B or C defender with the back rowers, gold. Guess what? You want some mongrel?
Do you think everything you've just explained, do you think Queensland are up for it?
Well, we'll go to them in a minute.
Okay.
I think I think Queensland, their bench is where the beauty is. Okay. I think the bench is where the beauty is. But see, what we'll go here with the New South Wales team. You want mongrel, okay? You see. So Queensland's going to try to get you in a grind, in a Malachi crunch, okay? Back and forward, washing machine. They're dying to get you in a grind, okay? Okay. If you lose 5 sets, okay. So you've made less meters, or you haven't gotten forward, or they're on top of you. 3 sets is not enough to change anyone. 5 sets is a borderline. You put Liam Martin in, another psycho.
Yeah.
Try to break that roll. Okay, now it's time. It's time. I've waited for 4 years. Okay, the media has.
You're talking about Nathan Cleary.
Yeah. The media has made this kid. You think they're talking about Peter Sterling, and trust me, he's no Peter Sterling. Okay, okay. It's time for him to stand up. Okay, he's got to kick early. If he kicks on the 3rd, there is no problem here. Kick on the 4th. Okay, and don't kick to what's his name. Don't kick to Reece Walsh. Get him to be the second ball runner. So kick to Murray. What's his name? I can't forget. Talga. What's his name?
Yeah, I can never pronounce it.
Yeah. Kick to the other winger. Okay. Get him his carry to be short. Okay. Then because he's a small body, get Walsh to come the second carry. Okay. Then you've got him second tackle, and they're still in their quarter. Okay. So if you kick to Walsh, he's going to get the ball and explode. So that's a good carry. Then even if it's Talma or whatever, okay, it'll be a good carry again because we're going backwards. So you kick to him, to Talma, kick to Murray. I can't say, where's Artie? Where's Arthur? I'm missing you already, Arthur.
We need you.
I'm missing you already, Artie. Okay, you kick to Murray and you rush down, get him because he's not a big body. Then Walsh has to...
Taulagi?
That's it. Talagal, whatever. Yeah, Murray.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you get Walsh to do a second carry because by the time Selwyn comes back or Valentine's, okay, you've got him trapped. Okay. And then when we're coming out of our red zone, we haven't got Latrell anymore, but let's hope that Toho does what he always does. Let's hope Travojevic does what he always does, and Josh Adokar is going to do what he always does. In terms of Nathan, If New South Wales is on the back foot, I'm going to be watching very intently to see how Nathan's going to put us on the front foot, and I'm not going to put it on Jerome Lula's.
George, I've been saying this for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? My
Solely-
criticism of Nathan Cleary when it
Solely.
comes to Origin is that the only time you see him come out and own the game is when the game's already in the bag.
Yeah.
It'll be a tight game. He'll be nowhere to be seen, and then eventually New South Wales get up by 20 points, and all of a sudden he's everywhere. But he's got to own it. He's got to own it.
But sorry, what has he done previously?
3 or 4 years ago, we only won the series because he got injured, and Maloney took his spot and brought the game home. You remember that?
I do remember that.
He's got to own it. Sorry, what did you ask me?
You know, sometimes when the games are tight, and I can't remember, but I do remember anytime we're on the back foot, he's nowhere to be seen.
That's always been my
But
criticism.
those, yeah, me too.
But he'll
but,
come out and look good in the highlight reel when the game's already in the bag.
You know what? I've seen so much good for Penrith, and look, it's a great team.
Yeah, club level's different.
It's a great team, yeah. It's got to be there. It's got to be there. It's got to be there. Let's have a look. And you know what, Nico? I didn't mention Nico. I don't think he's going to go on. I can't see it.
I'd be surprised if he didn't. I think he'll bring him on a dummy half in the
Dummy
last
half?
10 minutes of the half. Yeah.
Okay.
Or obviously if there's a HIA or something, there'll be a
Oh,
reshuffle.
look, yeah.
But you're
And-
saying under
and
normal
he's the be-
circumstances.
And look, if there's an injury, a reshuffle, he's the best to come on. He's the one. He's
I've
the
got
one.
to tell you, last Monday night I watched NRL 360 the day after the teams were announced, and they had both Billy Slater and Brad Fittler on as guests, beaming in from their camps, respective camps. And I've got to say, Billy Slater, watching him speak for 5 minutes, this guy's a long-term future NRL coach.
Absolutely.
He's so well spoken. He's so decisive about the moves that he made.
Absolutely.
He made some tough calls. He has his strategy down. He just really impressed me with the way he was speaking.
Yeah.
And he sounded like someone who's been doing the job for 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just really super impressed. And then watching footage of him at training out in the paddock with the team, he looks like he's a natural coach. I know it's way too early to say that, but he just, and there's no doubt he's pulled Reece Walsh aside and told him, "You remind me of me,"
Yes, he has.
and
done
probably given his confidence. You know,
that. He has done that. Apparently.
they had Brad Fittler on about 10 minutes later, and he seemed like someone who was coaching his first year. I feel like he's picked his team out of fear.
Yes. Yes.
And again, he's got a couple of backs who are severely underdone. Turbo, he had a good game the other week because he scored 3 tries. They were very simple tries. None of them were trademark Turbos. Addo Carr's had 1 game in 6 or 7 weeks. So he's taken some risks. These are guys who, by the way, if they're on, they'll do the job. Absolutely, no question about it. But Campbell Graham, I thought had to be there. I mean, how could he not replace Latrell Mitchell?
He's injured.
Campbell Graham is injured?
Yeah, he's injured.
Okay, well, there you go. That's why.
Yeah,
there
he's
you
injured.
go.
That's
I
why
didn't know that.
He would have been on the bench.
I was
He
going
would
to
have
say,
been-
he'd have to be,
He would
right?
have been on the bench, but
Okay.
he's ruled
All right.
out for Souths as well. They're saying that Latrell might play for Souths on Sunday. We got to know how that works out, but
It's a calf strain,
it's
apparently.
a calf strain. Yeah.
So, we'll see in 48 hours from now, literally.
Can't.
I think Queensland will win it,
Ooh.
but we'll get to that later on.
Well, I'll just say, I just want to talk about Queensland. Everything I said about New South Wales, how they're going to just carve up through the middle and just create massive waves of forwards going through. I look on the other side, and I look at Flegler, I look at Hunt, I look at Collins. I look
We're in
at
trouble.
I look at David Fafita, I look at Tom Gilbert, and I look at Pat Carrigan. Now, I don't know Billy. I don't know how he thinks. I don't know how he wants them to work, okay? But this pack is equal to New South Wales as a pack, and they could do exactly the same. What I said that New South Wales going to Queensland, they could do the same thing to New South Wales. Trust me. But this is the issue. Okay, when we're in the 25th minute, okay,
Yep.
and you're puffing a little bit, okay, and you see Ben Hunt coming off, and you go, thank God, because he's been kicking you
Yeah,
to
who's
death.
coming
Okay,
on?
yeah, Harry Grant comes on.
There you go.
Harry Grant comes on, and you know when Lindsay Collin starting to get a little bit tired, okay, and you see this massive unit called Tino walk on.
I want to see Tino and Payne Haas go at it again.
Well, they're good buddy or something.
Or
aren't they?
Tino and Tavita Pangai Jr.
They're good buddy too, apparently.
They went at it in the club
Oh,
club
no,
game
yeah,
the
a
other
couple-
week.
the other week, okay, and
They went after each other.
yeah, well, let's hope. And you know when David, and he will be a little bit tired,
Mm.
and they put on Ruben Cotter, just a psycho. He's going to do 50 tackles, and this is the worst one from all. Okay, we got Nico, which I said we're not going to use, and you said they could put him a dummy half.
I think
okay,
so.
they got Jai Arrow to put on. So
Yeah.
what Billy wants is just an 80-minute roll, 80-minute going forward.
Do you think Brad Fittler will toy with the idea of shifting Luluai at some point
To put him where?
to bring Hines on?
I would do that.
Well, see, for me, that would be a terrible mistake.
Why?
Because what coach ever goes into a game with a plan to shift one of their halves? Your halves are not the players that should be shifting.
Well, if he's playing okay, yeah, no, he's not. They're not.
You know what I mean?
They're not. But he's the Dalian Player of the Year, and if he
Well,
can,
he should have been selected there.
I agree, because I can see a world that Nico, because he's a running half, getting the ball, drifting left or drifting right,
Yeah.
and hitting Latrell or hitting the wall. Now he
I
can't
just
hit
don't
Latrell.
think any solid team shifts their halves.
Oh, they won't.
That's not a player.
And that's why I said I don't think he'll come on.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll come on unless it's an injury, and there could be a HIA. And I found out the HIA test.
What is it?
Okay, they tell you 8 numbers, and you got to repeat them backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I can't do that when I'm normal.
That's what I said. Okay, and then they say sentences, and you got to say them backwards.
Who can
And if you can't do that, you fail.
do that?
Yeah, but the thing is, you get the scripts, and apparently you train. You train for
Okay.
it before you go on. But that's it. That's the test. You go backwards. They tell you forwards, and
Fair
you have to go backwards. And I freaked out when I heard when
Fair
I
enough.
found out, because you told me last week, and I
Yeah.
found out. Okay, I think maybe the only weakness in the Maroon Nicola is Reese occasionally has a mistake in him.
I think he'll be well covered though.
Sylvan Colbo occasionally has a mistake, and one mistake is humongous
Yeah.
in these games. Okay, Val, you're talking about Travojevic not being at top form. Well, you could say Val probably not at his best in the last month.
Yeah.
Okay, the Hammer's been playing well. Murray might not be a spot, but then you're going into 2 guys called Cameron Monster and Daly Cherry Evans. I think I convinced myself Queensland will win.
What
I hate
I mean,
Queensland. I hate Queensland.
the different both teams have got 2 number 7s, right?
Yes.
And a solid number 9,
Yes.
a regular number 9.
Mhm.
But Queensland have the perfect
Mix. Yeah.
ploy to utilise all 3 players, with one of their halfbacks being a great option at hooker, Ben Hunt.
And the Australian hooker.
When he comes off the field,
The Australian.
Harry Grant comes on.
Yeah.
New South Wales don't know how to use their third man.
No.
And like you're alluding to, he might not get used at all.
Maybe not.
What does that tell you? You get it wrong at the selection table, I believe, when it comes to Origin.
You know what? The issue here, Nico, is that if they do lose in Adelaide, okay, they're going back to Queensland for game 2.
which is a
Same
must win.
call. Well, it's a no-win. The history tells us it's a no-win.
Yeah, but don't worry about it. History means nothing.
Okay, I'm just saying.
All
History tells
when
us.
people say all these stats and it means nothing when the bell rings.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, I hear what you're saying, but all I know is that it's been a long time since we won in Queensland. That's all, and going there 1 down, I still think it's a must win for New South Wales. That's what I'm looking at it as a must win. I'm looking at it as a must win. Anyway, that's my Queens. That's my origin.
I know we're going to go through this later, but who are you tipping?
You know what? My head says Queensland. My heart says New South Wales. I want to believe, and I'm going to believe one last time. I'm going to say New South Wales just, 14-10. 14-10, please. Let's win. But if they don't, ready for me to give the biggest blast to Freddie.
Yeah, I think the Maroons.
Anyway,
let's move on to our done and dusted segment.
That's it.
For round 13, the round that was. Now it was a split round, so there was only a few games, 5. Opening game, the Dolphins defeated the Dragons 26 points to 12. Keeping in mind there were no Origin representatives in any of these games. The Eels beat the Cowboys 24 points to 16. The Broncos beat the Warriors 26 points to 22. The Raiders beat the Rabbitohs 33 points to 26. And the Newcastle Knights defeated the Manly Sea Eagles 28 points to 18. Starting off on the Thursday night, George, the Dolphins beat the Dragons 26-12.
I'll be short here. You know what? The rounds between Origin, it's probably me, my mental beam. I watch them and I'm not engaged. This game showed me that you've got to beat the Dolphins. They hang around for dear life. Isn't it funny how in one year, Supercoach can build such a culture.
It's crazy.
And a club that's been a joint venture for 10 years or more than 10 years and it still can't get it right.
The Dragons were only missing Ben Hunt, I believe. Unless did they have some injuries?
No. Missing Ben Hunt and they weren't
Which
good.
is a huge loss, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt. But you know what? Dolphins just do what they do.
Yeah.
And it's a confidence, it's a culture. And you know what? Their type of play will get you into the semi-final, which I can't believe I'm saying this.
No, me either. I know.
But they might get into they'll do nothing. They'll be first one out, but just to get to this will be Wayne Bennett's greatest achievement.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it because he hasn't got a star-studded team. You tell me about this game because I've only got one or two things to say about this game. I was in the air, but I did watch it.
You're talking about the Eels and the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Well, I only saw the first half because I picked you up from the airport.
We're both in the same boat.
So I saw the highlight.
I've seen it.
I had to leave at half time.
I've seen it.
Look, from what I saw, I was actually very disappointed. Now, in hindsight, I may have been a little bit harsh on the Eels.
Mm-hmm.
The Parramatta only had one Origin representative, Junior Paulo.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys had about 3.
Yes.
And they were missing Jason Taumalolo.
Yes.
But then upon looking at the Eels side, they were missing Paulo, Sean Lane, Ryan Madison,
Whole pack's gone.
RCG,
Whole pack's gone. Yeah.
Andrew Davey, and Offa Hengawi lasted less than 10 minutes and he came off with a calf injury. So the whole forward pack was decimated.
Poor guy.
I really thought the Eels should have run away with it in the second half. Cowboys, I believe, came back within 2 points, and I think Moses scored right at the end.
Yeah, right at the end.
So it was a weird game. It was 6-6 at half time when I left it. Cowboys were leading 6-0. Parramatta again made a lot of mistakes when they should have been icing moves. But hey, it's about the 2 points.
Yep.
Keeping in mind as well, they've had a 13-game run now without having a break. So Parramatta haven't had a bye yet. So they get their first bye this week and they get a second bye a couple of weeks later. So
crazy table.
good
Crazy
time
draw.
for that team especially with all the injuries they have.
It's a crazy draw. Let me tell you. Let me tell you something that you can think about and tell me what you think. Okay. Um, um, let's say Brad Arthur. Let's say the Parramatta Eels, because of their circumstances, have changed their pattern of play.
Well, they had to.
Okay.
Put it this way: in this game, there was not one forward
Yeah.
who played in the grand final.
Yeah, I know. I think at the start of the year, Brad tried to play the power game, and it didn't work. So what they're doing is they're trying to get a balance of moving the ball sideways, or going laterally, and then going forward. Okay, and the good thing is you're very lucky because you've got the exact halves to play that type of game. Hence, okay, young Dylan Brown has come to the surface.
Yeah, he's playing well.
And you can I honestly say that he's a smidgen away from Mitch. You know what I mean? He's just a smidgen away. Mitch is obviously the dominant.
Well, he
half.
needs to be more consistent. He's been good for a month now.
He's been good for a month, and that's about the time.
Well, he made an unbelievable try-saving tackle.
2, I think it was 2, and
his defense is enormous.
Yeah, and it's been a month now that they've changed that style, and I'd like to see it evolve. And look, eventually they're going to get some of those forwards back. And you know what? Yeah, the Lane being injured, okay, it's probably a godsend. And you know why? Because he would just shovel the ball to Lane. Because Lane was devastating. He's a devastating back rower, okay. And he knew it. And he said that. He's always said that. He goes, all I have to do is give the ball to Sean. Yeah. Okay, but guess what? There's no Sean anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. So he has to do more, and he's done more. So I think this team is evolving to a different point, to a different place. Okay. And it might have been knocked down a peg or two, but they're changing, and in the future, maybe this year they'll emerge as a different entity. I really do.
Couple of interesting stats is I mean, they've lost 7 games, right?
Yeah,
they've lost 7 games, and they've won 6. They have the second highest attack in the comp, and out of all 7 games they lost, you know what the biggest losing margin is? 10 points.
Yeah.
So they've all been very close.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know, the old saying, winning starts in the front office.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't have to change your style if you got your retention right. That's another topic.
That's another conversation.
That make me break into a second rant.
That's another conversation.
So anyway, they got the 2. They needed it.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Broncos 26, Warriors 22. The Broncos were winning this comfortably. The Warriors stormed home late and had a try disallowed very late. It was 26 all at one point, but the try was taken off them. Reynolds came back.
Yes, thank God.
Obviously the Broncos, they did well to win, considering they were missing a few troops.
You know what? The Warriors didn't turn up. It's a shame. It took them 12 rounds or 13 rounds to have an off day, but an off day they had.
They still
Broncos
lost by
were
4
good.
points.
Yeah. Broncos were good. Broncos were very good actually for how many were out. But Reynolds is probably playing some of his best rugby league he's ever played, I'd say, and it's probably contributed to who's around him. They were very good. That defense at the start, where they're holding all those Warrior players up, was amazing. But the Warriors, no doubt, they were off. And yes, they made a game of it. They stormed back. And that's all I can say. Broncos won. In this Origin period, it's very important for them to win games, and they've done it. There's no shame for the Warriors either.
No,
I mean they just had a day off.
No,
I think they had a day off anyway.
The next one surprised me. The Raiders 33, Rabbitohs 26. I really thought South were going to win this game.
Me too, and it was the best game of the round, I think. Raiders played really well. Jack played really well. But guess what? South played well too. Don't worry about the score. South played well. And you know what? How much I hate him is how much I love him. The 5'8" for South Sydney, Cody Walker. I mean, he's getting better and better
He's good.
every
He's good.
week. You know what I mean? And what Taff is doing in reserve grade is beyond me.
Yeah.
Someone's going to buy that kid. And I know they made a pact of staying together,
Yeah.
Ilias Mamazoulis and Taft, but I'm telling you now, someone's going to call for him. I think someone's going to break the pact very soon. You know what I mean? Good victory by the Raiders. Ricky had a smile. Didn't see the presser. Did you see the presser?
I actually haven't yet. No.
Haven't seen the presser.
Yeah.
No shame for anyone. Best game of the
And
best game of the round.
Shout out as well, well wishes to Corey Wira-Haranara, who had that unfortunate incident on the field, but
Sickening.
thankfully he's okay.
Yeah, he's okay.
And it was great to see all the players rally around him as well.
Not only the players. I listened to Talkback the other day, and there was people showing concern for Corey. And we didn't see much of it, thank God. And Channel 9 or Fox Hill did the right thing and put the cameras away from him. And the boys actually, if you notice, huddled around him so that we didn't see anything. But convulsing, no one wants to see that on the field.
No.
I'm not a fan of that.
No, but he has provided an update. He's feeling better, so should probably be rested this week. But it's good to see that he's okay because we don't want to ever see anything like that. The Newcastle Knights, they bounced back 28 points to 18 over the Seagulls.
For the official bludger of the round, official bludger of the round. You know what? What can I say about this game? Was it entertaining?
They got the chocolates.
They got the chocolate. That's all they care. Both teams not at their best. Both teams made a lot of mistakes. At one stage, the Seagulls looked like they were going to run away with it. The Knights had a period of good play. Yep, Ponga done okay.
What he had to do?
Yeah, what he had to do.
He had a couple of other head knocks too, didn't he?
Yeah, but they're trying to ignore it now, you know what I mean? Look, the Knights won. About this game, the Knights won, the Seagulls didn't. There you go.
Well, what was your game of the round?
That's a very good question. I said it before. The Souths and the Raiders, Nicola. That was my favourite game.
I think I'll back you on that one. Yeah. What was your bludger of the round?
Probably that one. I read here all of them, but no. The only reason is, you know what? It just seems so flimsy. The games between the Origin.
Yeah. I'm going to say the second half of the Eels game because I didn't get to watch it because of a certain someone I had to pick up from the airport.
I watched it. It was good.
I'm glad you watched it.
I watched it.
I'm glad he watched it while he was on a plane.
It was good. It was good. But
what stood out for you this round?
Sorry.
What stood out for you this round?
What do I write here? I have no interest until the State of Origin's over.
Well, I'm going to say what stood out for me, which you don't get to see very often, was the great show of unity from players on both sides when we had that incident in the Canberra game.
Yeah.
And how all the competitiveness, all the whatever it is, immediately goes away when something unfortunate happens, and just shows you, you know, how it brought everyone kind of close together. I just thought the way they protected him was really good to see.
On that, something interesting. Did you see Mitch giving Offen and Gower his jersey?
No,
his game jersey.
No, I didn't. No.
He said that he knew him for a long time. They've played together as juniors and against each other for many years.
He's a Queenslander, Offen Gower, isn't he?
Is he?
He played for Queensland.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And go back so you see it.
Yeah, I will.
And did he come early when he was maybe playing ball or flag down?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know his history.
And he said we've played together and against each other for many years. And he goes, and all we need you to do now is make your tackles and make your runs. And back to your point about, basically half of them know each other.
Yeah, a lot of them too. Yeah.
It's a very small community, rugby league.
Yeah, but it's just nice to see them band together when needed. Who gets the John Cruz spray for this round?
Officially, no spray this week.
I'm going to give it. I don't know who he is. I don't know what his name is. And I only saw the first half again, and I saw the highlights. But whoever that referee was on Friday night for the Eels-Cowboys game was atrocious. And it wasn't just him. The bunker.
Oh, bunker.
Did you see that call towards the end of the game
Bunker.
where they penalised Parramatta for something the bunker looked at the wrong thing, but they retained their challenge, but they were penalised.
Of course they did.
And everyone was just left scratching their head
Of course they did.
because the challenge was for an escort. The bunker ruled on the kicker being tackled late when he wasn't.
Of course.
There was just so many really, really bad refereeing decisions that night, and it just, I don't know, is this just something that we're talking about more and more each week?
I've said it. The state of play, the high quality games have masked the refereeing and the bunker. And I'm not going to say it again. I've said it all year, and I'm sick and tired of it. I won't lie to you. I'm sick and tired of it.
Who's Minority's player of the round?
Yes. Okay. We need a cab again because what's going to happen here? Mitch is going to pick up. No, sorry. Jack is going to grab an Uber, come up through, come up, go to Parramatta, pick up Mitch and Brownie.
Yeah.
Okay. Then drive across again because he's got a shop in the Shire. Okay, and go for the.
You know, Mitch is a kebab guy.
Yeah,
He's hard to-
I know. But I'm gonna drum it into him that he does like the chips with the extra parmesan.
He does like the chips
But
with the extra parmesan.
and you know what? Brownie loves the kebab, the gyro. And Jack, he doesn't care. Food,
Yeah.
food's food for Jack. So Mitch, the two halves for Parramatta, and Jack, they were outstanding. Honestly, Jack and the side, they were outstanding.
For me, I think Dylan Brown was my player.
Brownie, Brownie.
But let's move to our controversy corner where we talk about, we break down some of the issues in the modern game. Bit of a short list this week. Dragons, George, all the talk is that they're on the verge of signing Riles on a mega deal to the end of 2027.
Wow.
Okay. Not really surprising to anyone. And
well, we know that. We knew that was going to happen.
And now the Roosters have told him he's free to leave immediately.
Really?
Yeah, they don't even want him to finish the season out. So sour grapes over there.
Yeah. Well, they've got their man apparently. I'm not sure if he's the right man. Time will tell us.
Okay, here's an interesting one. Good old, and I'm sending a shout out to Costa, right? Con.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Toots, Jared Croker.
Mm-hmm.
His next game is his 300th first grade game.
Yes.
Now, the Raiders are playing the West Tigers at Campbelltown this Friday night, and Ricky Stewart has already announced that he's omitting Croker from the squad. He's sitting him out so that he gets to play his 300th game the following week in Canberra in front of a home crowd. Now, for me personally, and he's obviously communicated that to Croker, and obviously the club wants to put something special on for him. 300th game, he'll be the first player to do it in a green jersey.
Oh, really?
For the Raiders.
Sure.
So they want to make it a special night for him at home in front of a bumper home crowd. I think it's a wonderful gesture. I think it's a good move, and I'm sure the player understands. And I've never been one to hold back on criticising Ricky Stewart. But I think he's done the right thing here. Why is the media attacking him over it? They're saying it shouldn't matter. You should be picking him if he's ready to play. You know, every game's important. Blah, blah, blah.
First of all, I reckon that...
Mind you, he's had 2 years out, so I don't see what one game makes a difference.
First of all, if you ask Toots, he'll probably want to play just because he's a competitive type of guy. Okay. Number two, he's been playing really well. So you're losing something. You've got to be losing something off the foot. You said 10 points every game. So that's that.
Yeah.
Now, if Ricky wants him to celebrate his 300 at in Canberra, it's Ricky's priority. And you know about the media, this year's been the slowest year for stories compared to last year and the year before.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think Canberra are having a really good season.
They are.
At least in the second half of the first half of the season. And I understand why it's a special moment for a special player who's also a special man. The guy has never put a foot wrong.
Yeah.
He's been an ambassador for that club and that jersey. And I think it's a good idea to let him celebrate it at home. They're obviously going to put something special on for him.
Obviously, yeah.
And
be a big night.
and
Be a big week
I'm
for
all
him.
for it. Yeah.
No. Look, when it comes to Jared Croker, and at the start of the year, we didn't think he'll get the 300.
They've played the better half of 2.5 years without him, so it's missing him for another game is not that big of a deal.
I have no thoughts about it. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
I want to honour this man.
Yeah.
What he's done in his career, in his life.
I think it's a good move.
And I don't know if they're going to sign him for next year. I don't know if he wants to play next year even. But just if he finishes at the end of this year, he's achieved more than most do.
And I'll be there for that as well.
Yeah, good on you.
Myself and a few friends, we're spending the night in Canberra.
I'm envious.
We're going down to watch that.
No, I'm envious. I was hoping he was going to be in Campbelltown. I was going to go down and watch it, but Ricky had different ideas. No, but look, more power to not Ricky, but more power to Toots. Good on him.
What's all this hoopla about the dark blue New South Wales jersey?
Isn't it strange? It's mind-boggling. So
personally, I prefer the light blue, but
me too. I'm a traditionalist, and I like the light blue. And apparently, they polled the players, and the players said they prefer the dark blue. The television Channel 9 said, "Listen, can we get him back into the light blue because he clashes
with
the maroon, and it doesn't look good on television." And their excuse was that, well, we've commissioned these jerseys now. We can't make. Well,
that's not true.
Make yellows, of course not. So, I suggest to you that the man of feathers, Peter Volandis, has seen an opportunity because apparently they're selling like hotcakes at $165 a pop.
That's what.
Okay.
They should be using two different jerseys during the series so they can make
Sell
a run
more.
on both. Yeah.
And they might do it when they come back here. They might wear the light blue. Who knows? But and I suggest Peter Volandis has seen a market opportunity and has taken it with his hands right on the throttle. So that's what I think it is.
When you just said they're going to come back here, that's game 3. Immediately in my head, I had a thought, I hope it's a decider.
I hope it's a decider too.
But I mean, it'd be great, obviously, from an excitement point of view. But the reason I thought about that was because I immediately wrote off this first game. So what I'm saying is I hope we can win game 2 so that it's a decider. I've already written off game 1.
I hope we can win game 1.
Now, tell us a little bit, George, about, we spoke last week about how there were some issues with the next World Cup with France who were hosting it. They decided to pull the pin and pull out of hosting it for financial reasons because these tournaments tend to run at a loss and the government needs to inject a certain amount of funds to prop it up.
What a shame.
So France have pulled out of that. Now you've told me there are some new options on the table.
Yep.
Talk us through that.
So New Zealand have put their hand up, and that's where I think it should go. We reward New Zealand. It's a country that love their rugby league. There's plenty of stadiums through the North and South Island.
Yep.
So look, that's probably my preferred.
Who are some of the other options?
Fiji have put their hand up. Now, they've only got one stadium, one main stadium there. There'll be a lot of double headers, and there'll be a lot of double headers.
One stadium. That's not going to happen.
And I don't know about the money part of it. And we have, for the international committee, they've got a favourite, Nicola. They've got a favourite, Qatar. They said that they'll pick up.
Talk about left field.
Yeah, they said they'll pick up all the cost. So the board likes that because they don't have to pay 1 cent, and anything that they make, they'll make. Okay, and they say they've got the stadiums. Obviously, they've got the stadiums.
Yeah, it is the World Cup for soccer.
But there's a lot of questions there because.
Well, my first question is: does that mean Qatar get automatic qualification as the host nation? We know they've got a good team
of soccer.
No.
Rugby league?
Well, just earlier in the pod, you asked me and I named 8 or 9 Qatar players.
You're playing the mind game on me, Nicola. Look.
That's ridiculous. It's not going to happen. No way in the world.
They like it.
Nah.
They like it.
No. It
They
can't.
they like it. I've got to say they
Are
like
you
it.
seriously going to tell me that someone's going to go watch a rugby league game without drinking a beer?
Well, you know what? I found it funny. I found it funny because rugby league culture is, let's say, they enjoy a drink after
It's also the time
a game.
difference.
The time difference.
Yeah, no, it's not
Mind
going
you,
to.
England had a time difference as well.
Yeah, I know, but the Qatar locals won't watch it.
No, the stands will be empty. I'm not going. I won't go.
No, they're huge stadiums, George,
Huge
because it was built for
stadiums.
the Soccer World Cup.
Yeah, and will they allow women in the country?
I'm sure they will,
They
but
will,
I don't know
okay.
what the kind of regulations are. I can't believe I'm even saying that.
I don't know.
The fact that we have to ask that question, it's off the table.
I hope so.
Right.
I hope the International Rugby League Board comes to their senses and says to Qatar, thank you, but no thank you. And we've got a ready-made suit out there in New Zealand. But
New Zealand is the logical choice. Yeah, and they deserve it too.
Yeah, but all I can say is when it comes to the International Rugby League Board, the mind boggles.
Yeah.
The mind boggles.
I've got an interesting stat here. Now, this is not including round 13. It's from round 12 and before. And it's the top 10 missed tackles, the leaderboard. As you can see here, you might want to zoom in on that so you can see I didn't make it up. This has been doing the rounds on social media. Interestingly enough, Reid Marnie's at number 1.
Wow.
59 missed tackles. I did not see that. He's had such a good season. It actually shows you, considering how good he's been this year, the fact that he's leading the missed tackles shows you what his work rate is week in, week out.
And that's what I was going to suggest to you. It's probably how much he goes for it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he might miss, I don't know, 10 in a game, but he's made
How
70.
many is he making?
He's made 70 probably. You know.
Interestingly as well, number 2 is Appy Coruscant.
Another hooker. Middle.
55 tackles.
Wow.
Missed tackles.
Mind you, yeah.
So that's the Bulldogs and the Tigers. Number 3 is Joe Stimson for the Titans. He's missed 50 tackles. In 4th for the Broncos, Kurt Capewell with 48 missed tackles.
He's an edge.
5th, which actually surprised me, this one, for the Eels, Josh Hodgson at 46 missed tackles. I thought he would have been first. There was one game there a few weeks ago where he actually missed more tackles than the opposing team.
You told me that.
Yeah. Anyway, number 6 for the Panthers, Mitch Kenny, 46 misses. Number 7 for the Broncos, Ezra Mam, 45 missed tackles. Number 8, the Chad for the Cowboys, Chad Townsend with 44 missed tackles. Number 9, this poor bastard, he would make the list by default if for no other reason. Luke Brooks.
Oh, no.
With 43 missed tackles.
No, Paul
For
Luke.
the Tigers, and rounding out the top 10 is Elliot Whitehead from the Raiders.
Oh, really?
With 43 missed tackles, yeah. So I just thought I'd include that because I thought a lot of names there I really didn't expect to see.
Besides Luke, they're all middles.
Yeah.
So they're the guys who do the bulk of the tackling anyway.
Poor Luke.
Poor Luke. Poor Luke. Poor Luke.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting. It's not really reflective of I mean, Reid Marnie's been one of the players of the season so far.
So it's what how many tackles they actually make, and you say that they missed 40, and where are we? We're on round 10. So if you miss 3 a game and you made 40, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you're a centre, you might make 4 tackles.
Yeah,
a
I
game.
mean that needs to be bounced off the opposing stat of how many completed tackles they've made in order to get a real read on what the percentages are.
That shows me that they're the biggest workers.
But that's been doing the rounds the past couple of days, so I thought I'd read it out.
Yeah.
Let's jump into our crystal ball segment and look at the weekend that's coming.
Let's do it.
Now, this weekend will contain Origin representative players on the proviso that A, they don't get injured in Origin, or B, their coaches decide not to rest them. Now, we know Ivan Cleary tends to rest his players, which I think is a good move. Opening the account on Friday night, the Tigers are hosting the Raiders at Campbelltown, I think it is. This is actually a tough one to tip because the Tigers have been in really good form.
They've been playing well. They've been playing well.
Coming off a bye, the Raiders keep surprising me. But you know what? For the first time this season, I'm tipping the Tigers.
With Happy too, probably.
Well, if he comes through okay, they're not going to rest anyone, right?
No.
I'm tipping the Tigers. They don't have a great record at Campbelltown.
No, they haven't.
But you know what? The Tigers will beat the Raiders on Friday night,
Wow.
and the Raiders will rebound from that performance in Toots' 300th a week later.
Smash somebody.
Yeah.
I hope the Tigers win. I think Canberra will just win.
In the second game, this is a real interesting one. The Warriors on Saturday hosting the Dolphins.
Ooh.
That's a really tough one.
Yeah, is it in New Zealand?
It's in New Zealand.
Okay. New Zealand will bounce back to form, and they'll make the wrongs that they did last week right, and they'll win because they're just a better team than the Dolphins.
I've got to say, it's real hard for me to tip this round because I need to look at it on Friday when I know who's backing up and who isn't.
Yeah, it's hard.
On face value, I'll go the Warriors.
The Warriors have got no one out.
The Gold Coast Titans hosting the Rabbitohs.
Oh,
It's on the Gold Coast, but Souths have to bounce back.
South's got to bounce back. And
They've lost 2 out of their last 3 now.
all reports, Latrell's going to play. That's what they say.
Okay.
Latrell's going to play.
Well, it is an extra 4 days rest.
Yeah. So it was, and apparently he walked off.
Okay.
The reporters there just didn't know any difference. He walked off. So
I'm not sure if we neglected to mention earlier that Matt Burton has been flown in as well.
Mac Burton
to
is
join the squad. Yeah,
the squad. Yeah.
Which won't affect the Bulldogs because they had a
Go
bye.
back,
Yeah.
And plus, he could go back anyway because he's not part of the team. He's part of the squad.
Sharks Broncos Saturday night. This should be a doozy down in Cronulla.
In the prison.
Yeah, it's a bit. I'm going to go the Sharks, but gee, it's a tough one.
I'm going Sharks.
And a lot of it depends on who backs up for the Broncos.
Yeah, is Nico going to play? Is Nico not going to play?
I have a feeling he'll be pretty fresh.
Yeah, I think he'll be fresh.
And a point to prove as well.
Well, if he plays only 10 minutes like you suggested, or 10 minutes each half, he'll be fresh and he'll play.
Now, the first game we've got 3 games on Sunday.
It feels like a full round.
Yeah. Well, it is a full round.
Oh, it is a full round. Okay.
Yeah, the Eagles have the bye this week.
Eagles, thank God.
First bye.
Thank
It's
God.
taken 14 weeks.
Yeah.
Roosters Bulldogs.
Oh, my God.
Now, the Roosters have been going like a bastard, George.
So have we.
But every week I'm waiting for them to turn it around.
Well, they'll turn it around this week.
Do you think it'll be this week?
Yeah, I think it'll be this week. Of course, it'll be this week.
I'm going to tip them.
Where is it at? Belmore.
Allianz.
Of course, it's at Allianz. Allianz Stadium is going to be
I
Saturday
still haven't
night.
been to that stadium yet.
Apparently, I'm going soon. A friend, an old friend, she's got us tickets, and I can't remember when. Don't know who they're playing. I think it's in a month, but I believe that I'm going, so I can't wait to go. Yes, the Roosters will win and win well.
Cowboys hosting the Storm.
Storm
I'm
will
going
win.
Melbourne.
Yeah, Storm will win.
Cowboys just haven't shown me enough.
Enough.
Jesus. The last game of the round, the Panthers are hosting the Dragons. And obviously the Panthers are favourites. They're at home. But the Dragons are $5. I can't remember the last time I saw a team at $5 on the betting. So they're rank outsiders.
And I'm assuming it's at Penrith Park.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? If they put in and show something, that's a victory for St George.
Yeah.
Like Penrith will win, but if it doesn't blow out and they show something, and they've shown something both games. I'm not gonna. One game they've won against the Roosters, and what was it last week? The week before? No, last week against the Dolphins. You know what? They're in the fight. They'll fight in, but when the Dolphins get you into a grind, beside the top 4, you're not going to get out of their grind. So they're good. They're very good. They're very good.
Georgie, you got some tidbits for us?
I got some tidbits for us.
By the way, I didn't
Nicola.
run through a tip for the Origin because we already did that earlier.
Yeah, of course not. I'll talk about the women's Origin.
Please do.
Thursday night, guys. The women's Origin. If you haven't watched NRLW, or if you haven't watched the Women's Origin, this is a great opportunity. It's on Channel 9 and on Foxtel. Foxtel is my preferred. Okay, these two teams will go at each other, hammer and tong. You will see clean, open rugby league. You'll see physical rugby league. Okay. If anything, if I can get you any time to enjoy a NRLW game, this will be the NRLW game to enjoy. I'm sure even Nico will cast an eye on it. I hope
will,
you
yeah.
cast an eye on it. If you're not aware, because a lot of people are not aware of who to watch, if we all cast an eye on New South Wales and follow Emma Tonagato, okay, she's a fullback, outstanding. My two favourites, Jessica Surgis and Isabel Kelly, the two Roosters centres, and the two New South Wales centres. Okay,
Who's Billy play for? She Blue?
Who?
Millie.
Millie Boyle. Millie Boyle plays for New South Wales, and she's part of this amazing pack of Apps, Davis. That's the front row. Kezi Apps, Keely Davis, and Millie Boyle is the front row. My God. Even for my God, and one of my favourites, Panatani, the Parramatta captain actually, and on the other side, the Queenslanders, which I hate, Tamika Upton, the fullback, probably the best player in the competition, and everybody look at the captain Ali Brigginshaw. She's how can I say, an aging Wally Lewis
Wow,
at the moment.
that's quite a rap.
Well, in terms of how long she's been there and her credentials,
Lewis
what
looked
she
like
means.
he was aging when he was playing.
Well, yeah, she's in her 30s now. That's what I'm trying to say. She's the experienced one, and she's got a bunch of. Last year, I complained that they didn't send the World Cup. They didn't send any of the youngsters through, and I can understand they wanted to get the chocolates. They wanted to win the comp, but now they've sprinkled youngsters with their experience, and I'm going to thoroughly enjoy this one.
And it's a 2-game series.
Two-game
right?
series, thank God. It should be a 3-game, or hopefully
Yeah.
next year. Let's have a look at the ratings, because that's everybody's complaint. The ratings on television. I believe that the stadium at Parramatta is 3/4 full,
Okay.
and they say it's going to be pretty close to full. Okay, which is good.
Yep.
And the big one, because no one can. The amount of feathers that don't really care about how many people go to the stadium. It's the ratings he cares
On
about.
television, yeah.
Yeah. So if they get, I'm gonna pull a big number. If they get 1 million, because the NRL,
That would be a stretch, I think.
yeah. Well,
Well, it sounds like a lot.
I think it's 4
For what?
million.
For the women?
No, the men's
Yeah.
they get 4 million, 3.8, 4 deciders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if they get normally they get a bit over 100,000.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so it's a big game. Look, let's say 600,000.
Let's just hope they do well.
Let's hope they do well, and you will get a good game. We're following, as you know, the plight of the world champions, St. Helens, Nicola,
I love that.
and they got out of jail. I was watching it. I saw Nico on Saturday, and the first thing I went up to him, I saw him. I go, bastards, like Manchester United. You know when they score a goal in the
last
93rd minute.
Yeah.
They just scored a field goal in double extra time, the poofters, you know what I mean? St. Helens beat the lead Rhinos 13-12 in a thrilling game. Nicola, our team, the Lee Leopards,
The ugliest jersey known to man.
but they shocked.
It's their jerseys.
But they've shocked the rugby league
I
world.
think people are scared to tackle them.
Maybe because they beat the Warrington Wolves, who
Wow.
are coming first. They beat them 30-12. They're well entrenched in the semi-final race, and for a team who last year was in Division 1, they're doing quite well. Salford beat Hull FC, which again another shock, 29-22. Hull KR lost against the Wolves, Nicola, 26-22. The Giants beat Castleford 20-4, and the Dragons beat the last place Trinity 36-6. The semi-final race, guys, is Warrington Wolves are coming first. Catalans, the French team, coming second. Wigan with your man, the fullback, Frenchie, who's leading the Man of Steel at the moment, coming third. Hull KR coming fourth, and our boys coming fifth, the Lee Leopards with the ugliest jersey in the world, and the bad boys in the Premier League, in the Super League, Salford hanging on to six, and St Helens a little bit outside the top six, but never count out a champion. That's
the Leopards jersey. It doesn't even look like a leopard. It looks like a tiger.
I don't know. You know what? I'm going to buy one. I'm going to put it up here.
It's gross. Seriously.
You know what? You got to watch him play with it. I've seen him play. It's funny. It's the most funniest. I don't take it seriously. I watch him. Him play. Okay, and they got a leopard on the thing. I just can't take it seriously. I can't take it. You know, like everybody's got a away and home jersey. They got one.
Yeah. They got one. Well, you can't match it. It stands on its own.
They got one.
Now, this is a dumb question. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to both nights. Definitely looking forward to Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it again. I hate Queensland, so I'd like to get one on them. But I do like Billy Slater. And then the Thursday night, I'm going to sit down in the same spot, eat the same thing, and hopefully watch exactly the same sort of scenario game. And I hope the women New South Wales team beats the Queensland New South Wales team. That's what I'm waiting for.
Well, I really hate this. I've got a bold prediction. I'm really looking forward to Wednesday night. Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling that 10 minutes after the game has started, all that excitement will disappear. And it'll just be watching another NRL game that's faster with less refereeing whistles. I hope I'm wrong. I want to see State of Origin game. I want to see blood. All right? I want to see dislocated shoulders. I want to see physical.
But that's theatre.
That's what Origin used to be.
I'll say it again. Throwing a punch or in brawl is not good rugby league. It's emotional. You see emotion.
This is a mistake that he always makes, right?
It's emotion.
I never watched Origin for rugby league. That's what I watched 26 rounds for. I watched Origin because it was different.
Origin that's why Origin got made, because of that. Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree. I'm just calling what today is, unfortunately.
I don't want to watch another great game of footy. I see that every week. I want to watch a bloodbath.
Bring Roy Masters back and Tommy at half.
Bring Tommy back, the cattle dog crow.
Yeah. Well, look, these things are iconic. These things are never to be
48
repeated.
hours away, George.
Can't wait.
We'll be in the second half.
Can't wait.
Or it should be over by now, actually.
Can't wait.
That wraps us up for episode 42.
Oh, it's over again.
Yeah, that was a bit of a quicker one. Another shout out to Arthur. We really missed you, mate.
It's funny.
It's just not the same.
It is. It's funny. And you know what? I got no one to just keep me in check.
I know.
I'm going rogue today.
And
I didn't want you back.
And we didn't disagree or argue about anything
nothing,
tonight.
I know.
So obviously, we're missing something here.
I know.
Artie, we need you back.
You know what? I always call him the voice of reason, you know. I could be going off my rocker, then Arthur tells me something like how it is. I go, you're right. I got nothing. I got nothing. He's the voice of reason.
I just hope that this means that next week we get 2 weeks worth of spam mail. That's what I'm hoping for.
We had nothing from Dimitra. We had nothing from Manolis.
Josephina. We haven't heard anything.
We had nothing.
They only talk to Arthur.
Hey, well, he's got all the dirt on him. He's got all the dirt on him.
Do you reckon he's okay, or do you reckon Sachin got a hand on him and kidnapped him or something?
Who knows? Maybe Sachin.
He hasn't been happy lately.
He hasn't been happy lately.
I hope he didn't trick him into the back seat of an Uber and take him somewhere.
Who knows?
Artie could be making his way back from Wagga Wagga or something for all we know.
You know what? Maybe Manolis gave him some dodgy euros, dodgy lamb, Artie. Maybe he gave you some dodgy lamb.
Either way, Matt, we missed you. We hope you're okay, and we hope you're back with us again next week. Definitely. But that's it. Good night from us. Enjoy the State of Origin. Go the Blues.
Happy rugby league, everybody.
Good night.
Bye bye.